Welcome to our politics discussion podcast. I'm Claire, and I'm joined today by Alan.
Hello, I'm Alan. Today, we'll be covering several key news stories, starting with the sentencing of Rex Heuermann in the Gilgo Beach serial killings case.
Rex Heuermann, a Long Island architect accused of being the Gilgo Beach serial killer, is set to be sentenced for the murders of 8 women. The reporting indicates he faces life in prison without the possibility of parole.
That's a significant case that's been ongoing for over a decade. Can you provide more details about the sentencing and the victims?
The sentencing took place on June 17th in Riverhead, New York. Heuermann was convicted of murdering 8 women whose remains were found along the Gilgo Beach area. The victims' families were present at the sentencing, and many condemned Heuermann's actions.
I see. The case has been highly publicized due to its brutality and the length of time it took to apprehend the suspect. How did Heuermann's background as an architect factor into the investigation?
The reporting doesn't suggest that his profession directly impacted the investigation, but it's notable that he led a seemingly ordinary life while allegedly committing these crimes. The police used various methods to gather evidence, including forensic analysis and digital tracking.
That's chilling. The contrast between his ordinary life and the severity of his alleged crimes is striking. What was the reaction of the victims' families during the sentencing?
The article states that many family members expressed their outrage and grief, condemning Heuermann for his actions. They also highlighted the pain and suffering his crimes had caused.
Moving to another story, Luigi Mangione is set to mount an emotional disturbance defense for killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Can you explain what this defense entails?
Luigi Mangione plans to assert a psychiatric defense, claiming he was experiencing extreme emotional disturbance when he killed Brian Thompson. This defense, if successful, could potentially reduce his sentence.
How does the extreme emotional disturbance defense work in practice, and what are the implications for Mangione's trial?
In New York, this defense can reduce a murder charge from first degree to second degree if the defendant can prove they were under extreme emotional disturbance at the time of the crime. It doesn't absolve them of guilt, but can lead to a lesser sentence.
That's an interesting legal strategy. What are the chances of this defense being successful based on the information available?
The reporting doesn't speculate on the likelihood of success. However, it's worth noting that this defense requires substantial psychiatric evidence to support Mangione's claim of extreme emotional disturbance.
Let's move on to a story about a potential deal between Iran and the U.S. Apparently, there's a leaked agreement suggesting Iran will reopen the Strait of Hormuz and sell oil freely once a deal is signed.
That's right. According to leaked copies of an interim agreement, Iran is expected to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and resume oil sales without restrictions once a tentative deal with the U.S. is finalized.
The Strait of Hormuz is a critical waterway for global oil supplies. What are the implications of this potential deal for the global economy?
Reopening the strait would likely stabilize global oil prices and improve supply chains. It's a significant development given the strait's importance in international oil trade.
How credible are these leaked reports, and what's the current status of the negotiations between Iran and the U.S.?
The articles indicate that officials have confirmed the leaked documents broadly match the actual agreement. However, the exact status of the negotiations isn't clear from the reporting.
There's been a legal development in India regarding a temporary ban on Telegram ahead of a major exam. Can you explain the context and the court's response?
The Delhi High Court has sought the government's response regarding Telegram's challenge to a temporary ban imposed ahead of the NEET retest. Authorities argued that Telegram was being used to circulate leaked exam papers.
That's a significant issue. How has Telegram responded to these allegations, and what's the broader implication for digital governance in India?
Telegram has challenged the ban in court, arguing against the restriction. The case highlights the ongoing debate between balancing public interest and protecting digital rights.
Finally, let's discuss a political development in Georgia. The state's Republican legislative leaders have rejected Governor Brian Kemp's call for redistricting in 2028. What were the reasons behind this decision?
The legislative leaders cited concerns about moving too quickly after a U.S. Supreme Court decision weakened federal voting rights protections. They also mentioned not having enough time to draw new maps.
How does this decision impact the electoral landscape in Georgia, and what are the potential long-term implications?
The decision means that the current congressional and legislative districts will remain in place for the 2028 elections. This could have significant implications for electoral representation and potentially for the balance of power in the state.
As we wrap up today's discussion, it's clear that these stories cover a wide range of significant issues, from criminal justice to international diplomacy and electoral politics.
Indeed, each of these stories has substantial implications for their respective domains. We'll continue to follow these developments in future episodes. That's all for today's podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time.